Hello, how's it going? Welcome back from the ad void. I decided to wear my most Alice in Wonderland themed outfit today. Welcome, Bunny, it's nice to see you. Yeah, we're doing yoga, we're doing reading today. I'm excited. We had a really fun yoga and reading stream on Friday, so I figured let's do it again. I turned on autofocus on my camera. If that starts to become a problem, which I'm sensing that it is, might have to change it. If it goes like in and out of focus a bunch of times. Although that might fit the vibe of what we're doing here, you know, just having a really surreal and mystical experience. But yeah, I got my tea. It's some more of that Rhodiola rosea tea, so looking forward to drinking it. And we'll be finishing Alice in Wonderland today. On Friday, we left off on like halfway through chapter 5, and I think there's only like 10 chapters, so yeah, so we should be able to finish. Let me see how many chapters there are. It's just Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Okay, there's 12 chapters. We'll see. We might finish it. Okay, maybe not. We'll see. But yeah. So maybe we shall begin with some I got Toby here with me too. She's checking it out. Hi, sweetie. Do you want to join the stream? Pop men, assemble. Pop men, assemble. Assemble for story time, pop men. Well, actually, yoga time first, and then story time. How's everybody doing today on this fantastic Un-Tuesday? A very merry Un-Tuesday to you, right? A very merry Un-Tuesday to you. Okay, let's do yoga. Woo! I don't know if I could do it with this jacket on. It might impede my yoga abilities. But you know, we'll go with it until it doesn't work. I'm just starting out in downward dog because I like it. What should we do? I didn't really plan out what I was gonna do, so we're just gonna wing it. Oh, we could do a nice little simple crescent. I like crescent pose. So you raise your right leg and you bring it forward, and of course all the blood is drained to my face, so it's gonna be red as hell. That's fine. Excuse me, you're gonna get kicked. Excuse me, you're in the way. Oh my god, she does not care. She's like, I'll get kicked, whatever. I was about to kick my cat. You keep winning. Holy shit, Choza. You really have found out the secret. Stonks. You want an update on the stonk situation? So the update is I submitted an order to sell. And yes, I will be donating the money to charity, I believe. I haven't chosen one yet. But also, because there's currently a hold on it, I have no idea whether it will actually because it might just hit 0. As soon as it opens back, as soon as that stock is finished being investigated by the SEC, they might just there might be a fire sale, you know? So I don't know, but that's nice. Yeah. Well, it's $3,000. Dude, I spent $40 on that. Like, I'm okay with losing $40, but I did not do it. $3,000 is it's excessive. That's like, that's the kind of money that kind of makes me feel bad, you know? If it was like, oh, $40 and I made $50, like, I made $50, that'd be different. But this feels like a sum of money that, you know what I mean? Again, we're not gonna shame anybody for their choices. Again, when you trade in the stock market, people do it willingly, they spend money willingly, although there are obviously schemes that are designed to trick people And so that's not very nice. Anyway, so yeah, doing yoga today. I don't want to see any comments about my yoga abilities or about yoga not being exercise. Yep, we will not accept those comments here today. I want everybody to know that any kind of exercise is a good kind of exercise. You're nervous about your ego from last time? Oh shit. What did you get last time? But yeah, it's best that you conceal. It's best you hold your cards close to the chest, bunny. You better hold your cards close to the chest. Okay, we're gonna do the other side. We always do the other side. Actually, so my back is not turned. You know what? I'm gonna do a little switcheroo. Okay, this is what's called a switcheroo in yoga tactics, yoga terminology. Yep, professional. We're professional yogis here. Okay, ready? I don't know why, but I think I injured my hip the other day because it's sore, which is fun. It said your ego is very large. Oh, rip. Well, you know, it's all about how you interpret the results, right? That's the whole point of the ego measure. How do you interpret it? Oh yeah, that's me. It's me. This is on the Great Wall of China. Yeah. Husband reveal. I accidentally revealed my husband like many times. If you watch my China vlogs, you'll see what my husband looks like. You'll know what he looks like if you look. He's like, yeah, I don't mind if you accidentally show my face or whatever. I just don't want to come on your streams and talk, you know? So, yeah, but that's my husband. Okay, now we're done. We're done with the yoga. We're gonna finish it off. The way you often finish it off is you can just go like this and halfway lift and then all the way up. Yes. Nice. Okay. Anyways, shall we start reading? I would love to start reading, except I need my fan because my body temperature is rising a little bit. But yeah, sorry, I didn't plan too many topics to talk about, but feel free to talk about anything in the chat at any time. Tomorrow we'll be back to our regular scheduled gaming and yapping about philosophy. There was something I wanted to say, but I completely forgot what I was. That's not very helpful, is it? What was I gonna say? Okay, let me think about it for a minute. I was gonna say something.
Roblox.
Life is Roblox. You know what? You're right. That's what I forgot. I forgot to discuss the meaning of life. Life is Roblox. Exactly. Okay, well, if it comes to my mind, then it comes to my mind. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, we ready? So let's take some deep breaths before we start reading. I was quite impressed with, on Friday, how it ended up turning out. In the beginning of when I was reading, I was stuttering a lot. But as time went on, my confidence built, and I stopped stuttering. So if you are somebody who stutters while reading, especially in front of other people, there is hope for you still. There's hope for you still. You just have to believe in yourself. Okay. So where we're at right now is Alice just talked with the blue caterpillar, the hookah smoking caterpillar. And I think she's trying to figure out how to get bigger. She's trying to figure out how to get bigger. And the caterpillar said, on
One side of the mushroom will make you bigger if you eat it. Another side of the mushroom will make you smaller. And she was like, wait, what side? Where? And he never elaborated. He just refused to elaborate, and he left off into the sunset. Hi, Dom. Hi, Dom. Trippy book time, let's go. Yeah. Trippy book time, woo. We might do ooh, Dom, I still haven't looked at the rest of your art yet. I need to do that. Perhaps today we'll take a little break and we'll look at some of your art and analyze. You're gonna have to wear glasses. Wait, why are you gonna have to wear glasses, Jozo? What happened? Sounds good. Okay. I'm gonna start reading. Come, my head's free at last, said Alice in a tone of delight, which changed into alarm in another moment when she found that her shoulders were nowhere to be found. All she could see when she looked down was an immense length of neck. Am I going in and out of focus? Oh my God, this is what happens when I do it to freaking autofocus. Okay, hold on. Okay, what if I'm gonna turn off autofocus, and now I'm just gonna focus. Nope, that's out of blue. Okay, wait. That's focused. Okay, slay. Okay. That's relatively focused, right? I think. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, it's hard to tell. But the other day I was watching my VOD back, and I didn't realize the whole time I was out of focus. So, this is supposed to be a good camera, but I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I don't know. Cameras are hard. Peter Parker wiping his glasses meme. What can all that green stuff be, said Alice. And where have my shoulders got to? And oh, my poor hands, how is it I can't see you? She was moving them about as she spoke, but no result seemed to follow, except a little shaking among the distant green leaves. As there seemed to be no chance of getting her hands up to her head, she tried to get her head down to them, and was delighted to find that her neck would bend down easily in any direction, like a serpent. She had just succeeded in curving it down with a graceful zigzag, and was going to dive in among the leaves, when she found to be nothing but the tops of trees under which she had been wandering, when a sharp hiss made her draw back in a hurry. A large pigeon had flown into her face and was beating her violently with its wings. A pigeon? Oh boy. Serpent! Screamed the pigeon. I'm not a serpent, said Alice indignantly. That's a hard word to say. Indignantly. Let me alone. Serpent, I say again, repeated the pigeon, but in a more subdued tone, and added with a kind of sob, I've tried every way, and nothing seems to suit them. I haven't the faintest idea of what you're talking about, said Alice. I've tried the roots of trees, and I've tried banks, and I've tried hedges, the pigeon went on, without attending to her. But those serpents, there's no pleasing them. Alice was more and more puzzled, but she thought there was no use in saying anything more until the pigeon had finished. As if it wasn't trouble enough hatching the eggs, said the pigeon. But I must be on the lookout for serpents night and day. Why, I hadn't had a wink of sleep these last 3 weeks. I'm very sorry you've been annoyed, said Alice, who was beginning to see its meaning. And just as I had taken the highest tree in the wood, continued the pigeon, raising its voice to a shriek, and just as I was thinking I should be free of them at last, they must needs come wriggling down from the sky. Ah, serpent. But I'm not a serpent, I tell you, said Alice. I'm a... Well, what are you? Said the pigeon. I can see you're trying to invent something. I'm a little girl, said Alice, rather doubtfully, as she remembered the number of changes she had gone throughout that day. Alice literally lost sight of who she was, like what kind of being she was. She's like, I don't even know who I am. Girl, same. A likely story indeed, said the pigeon in a tone of deepest contempt. I've seen a good many little girls in my time, but never one with such a neck as that. No, no, you're a serpent, and there's no use denying it. I suppose you'll be telling me next that you never tasted an egg. I have tasted eggs, certainly, said Alice, who was a very truthful child. But little girls eat eggs quite as much as serpents do, you know. I don't believe it, said the pigeon. But if they do, why then they're a kind of serpent. That's all I can say. This was such a new idea to Alice that she was quite silent for a minute or two, which gave the pigeon the opportunity of adding, You're looking for eggs, I know that well enough. And what does it matter to me whether you're a little girl or a serpent? It matters a good deal to me, said Alice hastily. But I'm not looking for eggs, as it happens, and if I was, I shouldn't want yours. I don't like them raw. Well, I'll be off then, said the pigeon in a sulky tone, as he settled down again into his nest. Alice crouched down among the trees as well as she could, for her neck kept getting entangled among the branches, and every now and then she had to stop and untwist it. After a while, she remembered that she still held the pieces of mushroom in her hands. She had the wrong mushroom. If she turned into a snake, that means she ate the wrong mushroom. As a mushroom expert, I don't know what kind of mushroom would make you think that you turned into a serpent? I don't know. She set to work very carefully, nibbling first at one and then the other, and growing sometimes taller and sometimes shorter, until she had succeeded in bringing herself down to her usual height. It was so long since she had been anything near the right size that it felt quite strange at first, but she got used to it in a few minutes and began talking to herself, as usual. She also has multiple personalities. Hello, hero. Hi. Hi, my friend. How are you today? We're reading again. We're reading Alice in Wonderland. We're almost done with chapter 5. Come, there's half my plan done now. How puzzling all these changes are. I'm never sure what I'm going to be from one minute to another. However, I've got back to my right size. The next thing is to get into that beautiful garden. How is that to be done, I wonder? And she says this. Oh, as she said this, she came suddenly upon an open place with a little house in it about 4 feet high. Whoever lives there, thought Alice, it'll never do to come upon them this size. Why, I should frighten them out of their wits. So she began nibbling at the right-hand bit again and did not venture to go near the house till she had brought herself down to 9 inches high. All right, that's the end of chapter 5. Holy cow, this girl. I feel like she's transformed like 9 times, like almost 10 times throughout the course of the book. It's a lot more than the movies for sure. She's just big and small and big and small. And then she turned into a snake as well. That was something new. When they introduced the mushrooms, you know, mushrooms are a wild card. You have no idea what's going to happen with a lot of them. If there's one thing I know as an expert, I'm not a mushroom expert. Don't listen to my advice. If there's one thing I know about a mushroom hobbyist, is that you don't eat random mushrooms. That's a recipe for instant death or a very bad time, at the very least. You will have a very bad time, and that's like best case scenario. Yeah. Oh boy. I would not eat a random mushroom. I would only eat a mushroom in the wild if it was, I don't think I would even try and eat like a puffball or something. A puffball would seem like the most obvious edible mushroom based on sight and, everything. But even then, I don't think I would eat it. Oh, hi, Galty. It's a chill stream. You can wrap your Christmas presents too. Yes, it is. Welcome. We are doing fantastic. We've donned our whimsical, surreal, what is this called? Jacket today. And we're reading Alice in Wonderland and doing yoga. So welcome. Welcome. But yeah, okay, so we're done with the chapter. So why don't we do some more yoga? I don't know what to do. Let me think. Oh, my favorite.
Was
one of
that
my favorite
Beijing?
Is this Malasana or Tadasana? I fucking forgot. I don't know. Hi, Refly. Hello. What's up, Beijing? How's it going, my friend? I just said that directly in a mic. I'm so sorry. Beijing in the house. Yep, Beijing in the house. You know, I really wish that people in China could watch Twitch. I mean, people do, like if they jump over the wall or whatever, the Great Firewall. But the Chinese people I've talked to, it sounds like they prefer to use Chinese apps. They don't like YouTube. They don't even like YouTube. Like my cousin who lives in China, he doesn't like using YouTube because China's got their own version. He's like, YouTube is so hard to use and I don't like any of the content it feeds me or whatever. I'm like, okay. That's fair, actually. Is this the discussing the firewall yoga pose? Yes, it is. Discussing the firewall under the Great Wall. That's the Great Wall right there. Here, I'll show you guys a little bit closer so you can see. Discussing the firewall under the Great Wall. Yes, very much. There. That's the Great Wall of China. They basically let you choose like 6 different outfits. They let you choose 6 different outfits, and then you go to different sites throughout Beijing and just take photos. Am I afraid? Sorry, I can't see what did you say? Okay, now we're gonna do a balancing exercise so I can bend down and see what you said. Am I afraid Toby will slap the picture down the stairs one day? She's actually pretty careful. I'm afraid she will fall down the stairs because it's a really far way to fall. Yeah. No, you won't fall, will you? You're careful, right? You're careful, right? She's looking at, what do you need? Can I help you? I don't know what she needs. She needs attention. That's what she needs. She always needs attention. When I do tree, it always drags your pants down. Yeah, that makes sense. I never feel like I do it correctly. So you could do it with your hands at your heart. You could do it with your arms out like this, and then you fall over. Or you can I think you could do it like with your arms up above too. This one's called figure 4. So I can bend down and see my chat. Eclecte, hello, welcome, my friend. How are you? Is there any weight on your knee? In this pose, no. When you're doing tree pose, you never want to put it on your knee joint. You always want to do it above or below. If you put it on your knee joint, that's going to put too much stress on that joint. But when you do figure 4, you do it above the knee. I'm gonna fall over. Okay, wait 1 sec. Okay. Anyway. Now we have we're being terrorized by a giant cat. She's standing up on my desk. Hi, sweetie. How's the view from up there? She's floating. Oh. It looks like part of my foot is still on my knee. Okay, I'll show you where my knee is. My knee is here. This is my knee, all right? And then my figure 4 is here. You see? Here's my knee. So it's above. And then oh, yeah, so tree, I'm still doing it above. My legs just happen to be very long. So my knee's right here, like right below where my toes are. So yeah, it's, figure 4 is a wobbly pose. Oh, for sure. Sometimes in my class, we do staff pose, and then goddess, and then not figure 4, but we do Shiva squat. Shiva squat is hard. That's a wobbly pose. It's this one, where your leg is up. I'm gonna kick this freaking pot over. I'm gonna kick the pot over. We'll break the pot during stream. Okay. Gotta always do it on the other side. I kicked my plant. Okay, that's not gonna work. I gotta do it sideways. Anyway. Just so you know, I'm not a yoga instructor, so yeah, not licensed or anything. Although I did look into becoming a yoga instructor. Turns out that's a very unprofitable career to have. I mean, I kind of knew that. I mean, we know that, but holy shit, they pay like $18 an hour. And then if you only teach one class or 3 classes per week, and they don't pay anything for setting up the classes, setting up the music. They only pay for the time that you're in teaching the class at the specific yoga studio I go to. So there's people doing like 2 or 3 classes a week, $18 each. Meanwhile, the yoga teacher training is $3,000. Make it make sense. Kicks the picture frame down the stairs. Yeah, that would immediately break. Ecliptic said, I too tried to get a license in yoga and it just really didn't work out. Shoot, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. Dang, that sucks. Surely you have to know so much also. Yeah, to accommodate injuries and variation between people. Yeah, so that's what the teacher training is supposed to do. It's like a several week, it's like, I don't know, I want to say like 9 weeks or something. So they teach you all that stuff. They teach you anatomy, they teach you like different, like the basic poses. They teach you the philosophy. They teach you like Hindu philosophy. So it's very comprehensive, but why not teach entertainment wrestling classes? Do I look like I can wrestle? Oh boy, no. I'm more of a make love, not war type of person. I don't like to fight. I'm the most anti-fighting person you've ever seen. My body length is ideal for the tombstone. What's the tombstone move? What the hell? Are you making fun of me? You making fun of my body? I told you guys, well, maybe you weren't here for it, but I said there will be no comments about my yoga ability or my body during this stream. So keep that in mind. Keep that. I had somebody say yesterday that yoga is an exercise, and I almost raged. I almost raged, to be honest. I was like, okay, sure. All right, rage. I had to really hold it in. Okay, sure. It's all relative. Let's remember it's all relative, okay? There's plenty of people out there who don't even exercise at all, okay? There's plenty of people. I know a ton of people. Well, that's because I live in America, so there's that. But I know plenty of people that don't even exercise one time. Never. Okay? And so here I am doing yoga 4 times a week, 5 times a week. You're telling me that's not healthy? I don't know. I know like we shouldn't always compare and whatever, but honestly, it is good. It is any kind of movement you do. If you've seen any of the documentaries or read any of the books about the centenarians, people who live to 100, it's movement, not exercise, that helps with longevity. If yoga isn't exercise and car racing isn't a sport, right? Trying to understand. Because okay, so people who do car racing still have to be fit, right? In order to endure the G-forces and everything. But yeah, people don't consider yoga exercise. And what I say to those people is, if those people did hot yoga, you would change your mind. Yeah, you would change your mind really quick. You would or if you even did yin yoga, dude. If you did yin yoga where you're like having to do the fucking splits and it's like hurting having to hold poses for like a really long ass time. Sure, buddy. Yeah, sure, it's not yin. So it's not yan, it's yin. So like yin and yang. So like yin yoga is about holding poses for a really long time. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. Sorry. Dom says, what do you think about picking one hard pose and mastering that? I think Patanjali says something like that. Oh yeah, so for those who don't know, Patanjali is the sage who wrote the Yoga Sutras. So, yoga expert, to say the least. I'm not sure he's focused on physical health. Okay, well, what I was saying was, if you've seen any of the documentaries about people who live to 100, movement, what they do every day is they move. So they go out and they garden. They go for really long, they walk everywhere. They, if there's yin, oh, you mean yang. You mean yang. Yin and yang. There's a G at the end. I don't know if there is. At least I haven't heard of it. And that would be surprising, right? Anyway, so like gardening, walking everywhere, just moving. The biggest killer you have, is it the same yin? Oh boy, okay, we're going on a Google search now. I don't know. Let's ensure that we are not misinforming our audience. Okay, yin yoga. Traditional Chinese medicine. I was right. Okay, look. Yin yoga. So it's a slow-paced style of yoga. So yin is really about recovery. It's about, you think of like resting. Yang is more about fire, heat, active, but yin is more about like just doing, so like shoelace pose is a good pose to do. So it's a lot about like really deep stretching. So like plow pose that I was doing the last time, plow pose is yin yoga. Although I will say this, it's not just stretching, it's also doing like breathing as well. It's all about breathing, so controlling your breath, right? So being mindful of your breath, doing mindful, anyway. Eclectic says the deadliest killer is the lack of movement. That's what I was gonna say. Yep, you know. Exactly. Yeah, the worst thing you can do, and listen, this is not to shame anybody that doesn't move, okay? Because I've been there. I've done like, I would say like 2 or 3 years where I just didn't exercise, didn't even like go for walks or anything, because I was taking care of well, I wasn't taking care, but my mental health condition was poor, okay? So I get it. But it was also because like, my mind kind of held me prisoner with all the guilt and the shame of like, oh, because you're not exercising, that means you're so unhealthy and you're a bad person, and you get in this like negative spiral, right? You can't even exercise. I didn't know that I could like start slowly. It doesn't have to be you go to the gym and you lift weights 10 million times and do 10 million squats and you're like crying because it hurts and it's intense or whatever. It doesn't have to be the cycling class where, there's 50 people packed in a room and there's like music blaring and lasers blaring, and like, if you guys see the footage of those classes, oh my God, they're wild. Anyway, where it's like full intense all the time. You can work up to that. You don't have to like do it right away. You know what I mean? Because when people have that expectation that like exercise equals pain and punishment, exercise equals being uncomfortable, when they have that association, a lot of times that completely destroys motivation for people. It did for me. And so like yoga was the thing that I slowly started doing, where I was like, okay, you know what, I think I can do this. And it started out with just hatha yoga, like literally just like doing cats and cows. Like I would literally be on my hands and knees and like, do this with sorry, I'm trying not to talk directly in the mic, arch my back and then go up. And I would just do that. And I would like touch my toes, and I would like stretch overhead. And that was my workout. That's where I started. Okay, now I would say 2 years later, I've worked up to going to hot yoga twice a week. I'm gonna add like a weightlifting class pretty soon. But you know what I mean? You gotta do it gradually. Don't beat yourself up for not being the same as everybody else. Anyway, that's my rant. That's my soapbox rant. Sorry. Dom says, I used to play angry music to do weights. I don't think that's the way. It works for some people, and that's fine. That's fine. You just have it. Just because it works for some people doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You need to find the one that works for you, because it's your body. Nobody knows your body better than you, truthfully. And that's a way a lot of the time that you're going to get injured, is if you try and copy other people and the way they do stuff and you're not paying attention to what your body's doing, you're going to injure yourself that way. Eclectic said, everything at our own body's pace. Yes. My mental health spiraled and I was forced to dive into mindful practices and movement. I've changed my life so much for the better. I'm happy for you. I'm glad. Yes. We love that. We love that. But often it's a slow start, right? It's a slow start. Step by step. Slowly over time. And then you might take some steps forward, and then you might take a step backward. And you take a couple steps backward. But at least the momentum is still going forward. Yeah, very slow start. Good for you. I love it. I love it. But one thing that we will not do on my channel, that I'm going to put a stop to every time it comes up, is people shaming each other for not being healthy enough, not doing this enough, not doing that enough. Just shame in general. I'm done. I'm done with shame. I'm done with guilt. See ya. Sometimes you might even moonwalk. You might walk backwards with style. True. Okay. The sun is having a time outside, shining directly. We love this sunlight for today. It is what it is. The lighting situation is just what it is. So, I'm glad. Okay, let's continue reading, shall we? Thank you all for the discussion. It's been very nice. And for letting me rant. It was mostly me ranting. Let's be honest with ourselves. Thanks for letting me rant. Okay. Chapter 6. Pig and Pepper. For a minute or two, she stood looking at the house and wondering what to do next, when suddenly a footman in livery came running out of the wood. She considered him to be a footman because he was in livery. What is livery? I don't know what that means. Otherwise, judging by his face only, she would have called him a fish, and rapped loudly at the door with his knuckles. The fish has knuckles? Okay. It was opened by another footman in livery with a round face and large eyes like a frog, and both footmen, Alice noted, had powdered hair that curled all over their heads. She felt very curious to know what it was all about, and crept a little way out of the wood to listen. Did you really think this was his face? Pulls out the giant foam karate hand. You're on thin ice, buddy. You're on thin ice, Refly. You better watch it. Okay. The fish footman began by producing from under his arm a great letter nearly as large as himself, and he handed over to the other, saying in a solemn tone, "For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet." The frog footman repeated, in the same solemn tone, only changing the order of the words a little, "From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet." And they both bowed low, and their curls got entangled together. Alice laughed so much at this that she had to run back into the wood for fear of their hearing her, and when she next peeped out to the fish footman was gone, and the other was sitting on the ground near the door, staring stupidly up into the sky. Alice went timidly to the door and knocked. "There's no sort of use in knocking," said the footman, "and that for two reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, because they're making such a noise inside, no one could possibly hear you." And certainly there was the most extraordinary noise going on within, a constant howling and sneezing, and every now and then a great crash, as if a dish or a kettle had been broken to pieces. "Please then," said Alice, "how am I to get in?" "There might be some sense in your knocking," the footman went on without attending to her, "if we had the door between us. For instance, if you were inside, you might knock, and I could let you out, you know." He was looking up into the sky all the time while he was speaking, and this Alice thought decidedly uncivil. "But perhaps he can't help it," she said to herself. "His eyes are so very nearly at the top of his head. But at any rate, he might answer questions. How am I to get in?" she repeated aloud. "I shall sit here," the footman remarked, "till tomorrow." At this moment, the door of the house opened, and a large plate came skimming out, straight at the footman's head. It just grazed his nose and broke to pieces against one of the trees behind him. "Or next day, maybe," the footman continued in the same tone, exactly as if nothing had happened. "How am I to get in?" asked Alice again in a louder tone. "Are you to get in at all?" said the footman. "That's the first question, you know." It was, no doubt, only Alice did not like to be told so. "It's really dreadful," she muttered to herself, "the way all these creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy." What? What do you see? What do you see? Oh, she sees the light reflected from my... Oh boy. She sees the light reflect on the ceiling. Get it. Get it, Toby. Get it. It's like a little laser. She's so adorable. Toby. Here, I'm gonna do it on the wall. You guys see it? Get it. Yeah. Please do not jump over the stairs though. Please don't fall off. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Reflecting light is the best toy for cats. I know she loves it. I'm worried that it's gonna make her try and go get it. She's not gonna go get it. She's not stupid. She's smart. Be careful. You be careful. Your cat would commit to the jump. No. No. Yeah, oh my gosh. No, that's like at least a 10-foot drop. Ooh. Don't knock my picture frame over. Oh, there's no use in talking to him, said Alice desperately. He's perfectly idiotic. And she opened the door and went in. The door led right into a large kitchen, which was full of smoke from one end to the other. The Duchess was sitting on a 3-legged stool in the middle, nursing a baby. The cook was leaning over the fire, stirring a large cauldron which seemed to be full of soup. There's certainly too much pepper in that soup, Alice said to herself, as well as she could for sneezing. There was certainly too much of it in the air. Even the Duchess sneezed occasionally. And as for the baby, it was sneezing and howling alternately with the moment's pause. The only things in the kitchen that did not sneeze were the cook and a large cat, which was sitting on the hearth and grinning from ear to ear. Please, would you tell me, said Alice, a little timidly, for she was not quite sure whether it was good manners for her to speak first. Why your cat grins like that? It's a Cheshire cat, said the Duchess, and that's why. Pig. She said the last word with such violence that Alice quite jumped, but she saw in another moment that it was addressed to the baby and not to her, so she took courage and went on again. I didn't know that Cheshire cats always grinned. In fact, I didn't know that cats could grin. They all can, said the Duchess, and most of them do. I don't know of any that do, Alice said politely, feeling quite pleased to have gotten into a conversation. You don't know much, said the Duchess, and that's a fact. Oh shit. That's mean. Okay. Alice did not at all like the tone of this remark and thought it would be well to introduce some other subject of conversation. While she was trying to fix on one, the cook took the cauldron of soup off the fire and at once set to work throwing everything within her reach at the Duchess and the baby. The fire irons came first, and then followed a shower of saucepans, plates, and dishes. The Duchess took no notice of them even when they hit her, and the baby was howling so much already that it was quite impossible to say whether the blows hurt or not. Damn, okay. Oh, please mind what you're doing, cried Alice, jumping up and down in agony of terror. Oh, there goes his precious nose, as an unusually large saucepan flew close by it and very nearly carried it off. If everybody minded their own business, the Duchess said, in a hoarse growl, the world would go round a deal faster than it does. Which would not be an advantage, said Alice, who felt very glad to get an opportunity of showing off a little of her knowledge. Just to think what work it would make within the day and night. You see, the earth takes 24 hours to turn round on its axis. Talking of axes, said the Duchess, chop off her head. Alice glanced rather anxiously at the cook to see if she meant to take the hint, but the cook was busily stirring the soup and seemed to not be listening, so she went on again. 24 hours, I think, or is it 12? Oh, don't bother me, said the Duchess. I could never abide figures. And with that, she began nursing her child again, singing a sort of lullaby to it as she did so, and giving it a violent shake at the end of every line. That poor baby. Speak roughly to your little boy, and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy, because he knows it teases. While the Duchess sang the second verse of the song, she kept tossing the baby violently up and down, and the poor little thing howled so that Alice could hardly hear the words. Oh boy, the stuttering is coming back. Who cursed me with stuttering? Who did that? Unfortunately, it was just me. I did it. Perhaps if we take a deep breath. Let's take some deep breaths and see if that helps. She's like, what are you doing? Toby's experiencing some anticipation. Hi, sweetie. I love you. Yeah, good girl. She's a beautiful girl. Okay, we'll try again. Let's see. I speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Here, you may nurse it a bit if you like, the Duchess said to Alice, flinging the baby at her as she spoke. I must go and get ready to play croquet with the Queen, and she hurried out of the room. The cook threw a frying pan after her as she went out, but it just missed her. Oh, that's interesting. So I know the movie with Johnny Depp had a similar scene to this, although it wasn't with the Duchess, it was with the White Queen, and the cook was like throwing dishes everywhere. Do I add pepper to my food? Absolutely. Absolutely, I add pepper to my food, especially when it doesn't call for it. I like adding extra stuff, and not just black pepper. You might look at me and assume that I only have black pepper to things. No, I like all sorts of pepper. Cayenne pepper, Kashmiri pepper. I don't like bell pepper. Habanero pepper. I haven't cooked with habanero pepper, but I've had like hot sauce with it, and it's been pretty good. I love peppers. White pepper is strange. Okay, I agree with you on that. White pepper is strange. Okay, I'm gonna do, what's my body feeling right now? My body's feeling hero's pose. So, I don't know if this is called hero's pose, but I think so. See if you have flexible knees. I've always been double jointed, so this pose hasn't been too bad for me. White pepper is used a lot in Chinese cooking, actually. Comes from white peppercorns, I think. And it has like a really bitter, actually, it might be that numbing flavor, now that I think about it. The white pepper you can buy from the store is not quite the same as like stuff you can get in China, but I think it does have a slight numbing flavor to it, and it's got that sourness. I don't enjoy that. That's not my favorite. Yeah. Do you guys like white pepper?
Okay, when you come out of this pose, be careful not to injure yourself. You gotta use your hands. Don't use your knees, obviously, because that's a very strenuous pose for your knees. It looks like it hurts and is uncomfortable. If you are not flexible enough, then yes, it will hurt. Yeah, don't do any pose if it hurts. That's for sure. Eclectic says, I love pepper and peppers. Yes, I love peppers. Reflex said, it's like it misses some kick on the top end. Right. Well, that's because it's the numbing flavor. So don't snap in half. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm a professional. Not really. Don't take that for, that was not, I didn't mean it. Oh yeah, that feels good. My back kind of hurts a little bit. It doesn't hurt, but like it gets a little bit stiff after that pose. So I like doing Malasana. Is a good, this pose right here, the yoga squat, is good for releasing tension on your back. People put white pepper in mac and cheese, I've noticed. Okay, yeah, I've noticed that too. And that's one of the situations where I feel like it can be tasty. But if you just can't put too much. If you put too much, it tastes bad. I had noodles one time in China where I knew they put too much white pepper in it, and it just tasted like sour, you know? But yeah, it's like a different type of spicy, and so I think that's why it's missing that kick that you're looking for. It's a different type of spicy. There's a lot of different types of spicy. There's like the wasabi type of spicy, like radish type of spicy. I have radishes here. Don't worry, I won't crunch it into the mic. But yeah, there's like the radish type of spicy. There's the cinnamon type of, oh, I love cinnamon. Yes, cinnamon type of spicy is peak. Or it's like the warming spicy. There's like cooling spice, or like astringent spicy. That's what I would call this, kind of like astringent spicy. Like warm and sweet, cinnamon. Warm and savory, peppers. What other kinds of spicy do we have? What other kinds of spicy? Like a minty spicy? Hello, Just Kibby, hello, welcome. We're talking about spicy food because we're reading Alice in Wonderland, and we just finished the scene where the cook was cooking with a lot of peppers, and the air was just full of spicy flavor. As soon as Alice stepped into the room, she was like coughing and getting the spice all over. So it works best with, so Reflex said it works best with greasy foods. Right, because I feel like that subdues the, oh no, like the white pepper cuts through the greasiness. So that's where it's, that's the only circumstance, in my opinion, where it would taste good. But in the case of where I had it as some noodles, like it was just a noodle soup, I feel like white pepper doesn't go well in that. Because it's not greasy, it's like, it's light. And so when you can taste it, you can really taste it, you know? So, but anyway, yeah. Shall we continue reading? Let's continue, shall we? And then once we're done with the chapter, we'll do some more yoga poses. Alice caught the baby with some difficulty, as it was a queer-shaped little creature and held out its arms and legs in all directions. Just like a starfish, thought Alice. The poor little thing was snorting like a steam engine when she caught it, and kept doubling itself up and straightening itself out again,
so that altogether, for the first minute or two, it was as much as she could do to hold it. As soon as she had made out the proper way of nursing it, which was to twist it up in a sort of knot, and then keep tight hold of its right ear and left foot, so as to prevent its undoing itself, she carried it out into the open air.
I'm convinced Lewis Carroll never had a child. I think that's a solid assumption, right? This is kind of an absurdist take on like what you can do with a baby. You could just throw it over your shoulder, or twist it into a pretzel. Like, okay. Yeah, and the fact that they're always saying it this, it that, just proves to me he's the type of person probably that if you hand him a baby, he'll be like, ooh. He'll be like, ooh, why did you give me this? I don't think I'm that kind of person, but I'm kind of a little bit that kind of person. I will have kids at some point, but I still unfortunately am that person who kind of cringes at babies. Okay. As soon as she had made out the proper way of nursing it, which was to twist it up in a sort of knot, and then keep tight hold of its right ear and left foot, so as to prevent its undoing itself, she carried it out into the open air. If I don't take this child away with me, thought Alice, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Wouldn't it be murder to leave it behind? She said the last words out loud, and the little thing grunted in reply. It had left off sneezing by that time. Don't grunt, said Alice. That's not at all a proper way of expressing yourself. The baby grunted again, and Alice looked very anxiously into its face to see what was the matter with it. There could be no doubt that it had a very turned-up nose, much more like a snout than a real nose. Also, its eyes were getting extremely small for a baby. Altogether, Alice did not like the look of the thing at all. But perhaps it was only sobbing, she thought, and looked into its eyes again to see if there were any tears. No, there were no tears. If you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, said Alice seriously, I'll have nothing more to do with you. Mind now. The poor little thing sobbed again, or grunted. It was impossible to say which, and they went on for some while in silence. Alice was just beginning to think to herself, now what am I to do with this creature when I get it home? When it grunted again so violently that she looked down onto its face in some alarm. This time there could be no mistake about it. It was neither more nor less than a pig, and she felt it would be quite absurd for her to carry it further. So she set the little creature down and felt quite relieved to see it trot quietly into the wood. If I had grown up, she said to herself, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child. But it makes rather a handsome pig, I think. And then she began thinking of her other children she knew, who might do very well as pigs, and was just saying to herself, if one only knew the right way to change them. When she was a little startled by seeing the Cheshire cat sitting on a bough of a tree a few yards off. The cat only grinned when it saw Alice. It looked good-natured, she thought. Still, it had very long claws and a great many teeth, so she felt it ought to be treated with respect. Cheshire Puss, she began, rather timidly, as she did not at all know whether it would like the name. However, it only grinned a little wider. Come, it's pleased so far, thought Alice, and she went on. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, said Alice. Then it doesn't matter which way you go, said the cat. So long as I get somewhere, Alice added as an explanation. Oh, you're sure to do that, said the cat, if you only walk long enough. Alice felt that this could not be denied, so she tried another question. What sort of people live about here? In that direction, the cat said, waving its right paw round, lives a hatter. And in that direction, waving the other paw, lives a March hare.
Visit either if you like. They're both mad. But I don't want to go among mad people, Alice remarked. Oh, you can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad. How do you know I'm mad? Said Alice. You must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come here. Alice didn't think that proved it at all. However, she went on. And how do you know that you're mad? To begin with, said the cat, a dog's not mad. You grant that? I suppose so, said Alice. Well then, the cat went on. You see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad. Yep, you have to be mad to make it to Wonderland. True. The question is there anything wrong with that? That's the question. I call it purring, not growling, said Alice. Call it what you like, said the cat. Do you play croquet with the queen today? I should like it very much, said Alice, but I haven't been invited to yet. You'll see me there, said the cat, and vanished. Alice was not so much surprised at this. She was getting so used to queer things happening. While she was looking at the place where it had been, it suddenly appeared again. By the by, what became of the baby? Said the cat. I'd nearly forgotten to ask. It turned into a pig, Alice quietly said, just as it had come back in a natural way. I thought it would, said the cat, and vanished again. That's it, okay. Alice waited a little, half expecting to see it again, but it did not appear, and after a minute or two, she walked on in the direction in which the March Hare was said to live. I've seen hatters before, she said to herself. The March Hare will be much more interesting, and perhaps as this is May, it won't be raving mad, at least not so mad as it was in March. As she said this, she looked up, and there was the cat again, sitting on the branch of a tree. Did you say pig or fig? Said the cat. I said pig, replied Alice, and I wish you wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly. You make one quite giddy. All right, said the cat, and this time it vanished quite slowly, beginning with the end of the tail and ending with the grin, which remained some time after the rest of it had gone. Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, thought Alice, but a grin without a cat? It's the most curious thing I ever saw in my life. She had not gone much farther before she came in sight of the house of the March Hare. She thought it must be the right house because the chimneys were shaped like ears and the roof was thatched with fur. It was so large a house that she did not like to go nearer till she had nibbled some more of the left-hand bit of mushroom. Oh, I love how she just keeps a stockpile of mushrooms. Atta girl. And raised herself to about 2 feet high. Even then she walked up towards it rather timidly, saying to herself, suppose it should be raving mad after all. I almost wish I'd gone to see the Hatter instead. Yeah, girl, you got mushrooms in your pocket. What are you talking about? Other people, we're being worried about other people being mad. Okay, sure. So that's the end of chapter 6. That was a quite iconic scene. Well, all of it's iconic, to be honest. But the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, this book is fun. I like it. Shall we look at some art? I want to look at some of Dom's art as a little pause. Mushrooms in her pocket. She has no care in the world. I know. I wish that were me. Okay. Let me pull up my Discord. Oh, can I share some good news with you guys? I got my certification today. Woohoo! I got my TESOL certificate. I don't even know what it's called. Hello. My TESOL certification. The certification I needed to be able to teach ESL. I got it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. So, celebrate. Unfortunately, I'm somebody who doesn't like to celebrate their accomplishments too much. After I accomplish something, I'm like, okay, I'll move on to the next thing. No, we should celebrate all of our accomplishments. Okay, where'd you put your art? Which channel was it in? Was it in philosophy? Oh yeah, it was in philosophy. Teach esports league? No. No. English as a second language. You think I'm good at esports? I doubt that. I don't even know. I've never played League of Legends before. That's like the esport, right? No, I could never get into League of Legends. Really. Okay. I don't remember where I left off. So we're just gonna start here. We'll start here. Oh, you know what? I don't think Dom's here even. We'll look at one of his arts and then wait till he's back. But you can see it it's on my Discord, so. When by the flood of your tears, the inner and the outer have fused into one, you will find her whom you sought with such anguish, nearer than the nearest, the very breath of life, the very core of every heart. I like that. I like the imagery of the... Hey, oh, Dom's back. Hell yeah. You're just in time, my friend. We are looking at the art. Let me see if I can... Nah, it's fine. I like this. It kind of reminds me of Orange. Oh yes, hello Orange. Yes, we just barely finished meeting the cat. The cat was telling us which way to go, and at the very end just left a smile, and that's it. I always thought that was very strange to have a smile without a cat. So this first one reminds me of the feeling after you like sob really hard. You know, you just have this really intense peace afterwards. That's what that reminds me of. And I enjoy that. The second one, if you try to study yourself according to another, you will always remain a second-hand human being. Oh, facts. Oh, that one's spitting facts. Damn, I wasn't prepared. So true. As someone who struggles with comparison, I compare myself to other people literally all the time. Like literally, that's probably one of my life's biggest struggles. But I find that the more I do that, the less confidence I have in myself and my abilities. And so, yes, it does make me a secondhand. And this is not like me talking negatively about myself. I'm just saying, like, it does inhibit me from growth, for sure. Dom says, I find it interesting that Anandamayi calls God he and she at different times. Well, honestly, it's Dom, I think it's the same. So if we're talking about like Hindu philosophy, for example, it really doesn't matter. Like, I watched this video from, what is it, Swami Tadatmanda? No, I forgot. The one that I always watch. I'm gonna find it right now. I'm gonna look it up so you guys know the name of him. Swami Tadatmananda. Okay, I was right. Yeah. He made a video about gender and how Hindus basically believe in 3 genders. Without getting into any of the political discussions or whatever, this is just pure classical Hinduism. So it's female, male, and then the, I would say like the in-between. So, or not even the in-between, it's just like a third option. You know, it's interesting in that East Asian countries and South Asian countries, some of them, they actually allow you to mark a 3rd gender on your ID. Let me see if I can actually find a... No, that's not helpful. Okay, so like South Asia, for example, it includes this entire category, which is so interesting. And it's often, I don't know, perceptions of gender in like Hindu and Buddhist and Asian cultures are really fascinating. For example, there's one of the sages of ancient India. One of the sages of ancient India, actually, in order to, have you heard about this? In order to become closer with Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna was his idea of God, is a version of God, basically. In order to be closer with him, he imagined himself as a woman, because according to the Hindus, the highest form of love is, I guess what I would term it is like romantic love, in that realm, right? So he literally, like during one of his visions, I'm explaining this very poorly, but like basically he entered a pool of water and then exited it as a woman, and then was able to love Sri Krishna as if he was one of Sri Krishna's, again, I wouldn't say it's a concubine, but kind of similar to a concubine. I'm explaining this so bad. Let me find the fucking video so I can stop. I'm gonna find the video because he explains it in such a better way than me. Okay. It was like just barely that he did it. It's called, it's called Arjuna. Oh, it was Arjuna. Arjuna's transformation. So Arjuna was the follower of Sri Krishna that ended up going through the transformation. So I'll share the video in case you're interested. Anyway, I think it's fascinating. I never thought of, growing up Christian, I never thought of that as like, it's like the opposite of the way I grew up, right? The way I grew up was that romantic love and like, especially sexual love, is something that's like taboo and like, no, gross. But here in Hinduism, it's like, nah, that's the highest form of love and respect. I must imagine myself as one of God's concubines. That's what it is. I'm trying not to be disrespectful about it because I think it's super interesting. When I saw the video, I was like, okay, yes, I must imagine myself as one of God's concubines. Hell yeah. Anyway, I think sometimes if people get sexually attracted to Jesus and what are the consequences of that? Well, yeah, so Dom, you're thinking about what Christian, like even in a Christian context, how strange that would be, right? That is so strange. Coming from my Christian background, that would be seen as so strange. But like I said, with Arjuna, for example, that's like supposed to be the ultimate devotion. Let's define that word you just stated, shall we? Oh boy, sorry. Anyway, I have no idea how we got on this topic, but we're here. Shall we continue reading? I was gonna do yoga, but you know what? It's fine. We've done enough for now. We'll do chapter 7. Oh, this one's iconic too. A mad tea party. All right. I'm feeling mad. How about you guys? I'm feeling positively mad. Okay. There was a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. We've done the mental yoga. Refly, you were so right. Refly, do you understand yoga? You actually do. Holy shit. Round of applause for Refly. I'm not being sarcastic, I promise. You understand the point of yoga?
Yes!
Yes, you figured it out. If you read the Yoga Sutras, yes, round of applause. It's not about the poses. It's about, like, the whole point of yoga, according to Yoga Sutras, is to...
Roblox.
Will you let me get to my point? Hi, Mr. Fish. Hello, Mr. Fishstick. Welcome. I met you yesterday. Nice to see you here. Thanks for coming in and joining us. We're positively mad. Well, hi there. Yeah, this is a little bit different than what I was doing yesterday. Yesterday, I was, in fact, playing Cake Mania. Today, we are reading Alice in Wonderland and talking about yoga and just having an absolutely mad time. So if that is your cup of tea, then cheers. No, sorry, no Cake Mania today. We do Cake Mania on Mondays. Cake Manic Mondays. Cake Manic Monday. Anyways, so if you read the Yoga Sutras, they talk about the 8 arms or branches of yoga. Some of them have to do with like a principle of not harming other beings. Breathing, pranayama, doing the poses. And again, all of these are meant at the end of the day to reach up to the top branch, which is basically enlightenment. Yes, ahimsa, no harm. Yeah. So it's the poses are great, but they're mostly meant to prepare you, A, physically, to be able to sit for long periods of time without hurting, and B, to have the mental fortitude to be able to control your breathing, still your mind, all that kind of stuff. We're thinking. Keep the applause volume down, please. It disturbs my chakras and auras. Oh, are you making fun of me? Are you making fun of me, Refly? Do I believe in chakras? Dom, I'm sorry. No, I don't. Well, that was harsh. I don't know. That's one of those things I have a harder time with. Because I've done, oh no. It's like tarot, or it's like tarot to me, or like astrology to me. I never got behind it. Buddhists seem to think they were pointless. I think they could be a thing for some people. It's not a thing for me. Kind of, it reminds me of like doing Kundalini yoga. So me doing tarot in my free time. I'm sorry, this is not coming from a place of judgment. And in fact, we did do tarot. Look at this, I've got my tarot cards right here. I do actually have tarot cards. I used to do a tarot reading at the beginning of every one of my streams, but I realized that my heart wasn't in it. I was completely bullshitting every single thing I was pulling out. So I think that it's not for me, not because it's like not real or anything. It's just that my heart wasn't in it, and your heart has to be in it in order for it to work. So maybe if I come back to it at a different point in my life, then it will work for me. You know what I mean? So like, this is not to say like, if you do tarot, if you're into astrology, you're into crystals, that's wrong or anything. It's just like I had certain mental things inhibiting me from actually enjoying it. Because like the whole time I was doing tarot reading, my brain was telling me, you're just pulling this out of your ass. My brain was literally telling, you're just pulling this reading right out of your ass. You're not, you know. Yes, I think Eclecta, okay, 95, at least you're honest, 95% of it is BSing, okay? But also being able to read the person you're reading, I think that's super important. And I wouldn't say BSing, I would say just like stream of consciousness, right? It's a stream of consciousness activity where you're pulling it from somewhere. Some people might term that as BSing, and that's what I was telling myself. Other people might term it as, oh, I'm just receiving whatever guidance the universe is giving me, something like that. But again, I doubted myself, and so I was like, okay, this is not helpful. All that matters at the end of the day, if it's helpful for you or not. That's what you have to look at it as. Like, is this tarot reading helpful for me or not? If it's not helpful, don't do it. If it's helpful, do it. So chakra thing, Kundalini yoga is about like, you've got like, 7 different chakras, I think, like ground chakra up to crown chakra. So you're supposed to like envision these discs, different colored discs. Well, I don't know if it has to do with colors, but like they've got different petals, lotus petals, different numbers of petals, and they're like rotating throughout the core of your body. So there's one at the very bottom, which is the ground chakra, and that's red. And then there's one at the very top called the crown chakra, which is white, I believe. And as you're meditating, you're envisioning those rotating discs, and you're feeling the sensation of it rotating inside your body. You're focusing on that. You're envisioning like a warmth or like a presence, and you envision it going up through your body. And so whether or not that actually happens, I don't know if that matters, but what does matter is that you're paying attention to something and focusing on something. And that's what's helping people meditate. So if it really helps you personally to like focus on something that you're visualizing really hard in one particular part of your body, if that helps you meditate, great. For me, it doesn't work for me, so I don't do it. Oh, I missed a bunch of chats. Stated this way, I currently have yet to have seen any scientific evidence that would confirm the existence of it. Well, here's the thing, Refly, and maybe you meant this and maybe you didn't. I'm straying away from the whole idea of like, everything has to be scientifically proven. I'm not saying like, don't believe in science. That's not what I'm saying, okay? I'm saying believe in science. Yes, science. But also there's some things that can't be defined by science. There isn't. Like, science reaches a certain limit. of how much it can explain our reality, in my opinion. Marissa hates science, noted. No. Fuck. I love how I just am giving off a wonderful first impression. Oh no. Oh no. Like magnets, how do they work? Insert hatchet man symbol here. I'm devolving. I'm gonna soon become Shannon Blake. No shade to her. We love her. We love Shannon Blake, you guys. We love Shannon Blake. Mostly because she's hot. I am a Shannon Blake lover. Feel what you will. Feel what you will about her. I personally, she's just, oh, okay, we're gonna stray away from that. We have some, those images are a little bit too revealing for this channel. Sorry, I apologize. I should have come out with a warning. We haven't reached Shannon Blake territory yet. She would not pass the medal. She was the one who had her hands around a glass container, and there was a piece of tinfoil in it, and was using the magic inside of her hands to rotate the tinfoil inside, and she was amazed because she had rediscovered physics. Listen, I love Shannon Blake, okay? It's just, oops, I guess I'm gone now. I disappeared. Goodbye. I'm bye. Okay, this one, there. We love Shannon Blake. Okay. What was my point? My point was that we soon will, oh, wow, congratulations. You're the same as me. That means you're on track. As long as you're the same ego level as me, you will never stray. Oh shit. Oh no. I think you might have to do some self-reflecting. Oh dear. Oh no. Rip. Rip. Ripperoo. Okay, so before we continue reading, I'm going to go get some more tea. So give me 3 minutes, I'll be right back. But feel free to order something from the cafe while we take a quick little break. Yeah, okay, be right back.
I'm back. Pop Man assemble. Assemble. Eclecte's testing out their new ability as an honorary member of the Pop Men. Sorry, let me put my mic on. Thank you. I probably should have put on my mic before I turned on my mic. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. Maybe we'll do a little yoga for a minute because my legs are starting to get stiff. Mostly what this is about is just like, I don't like sitting for a really long time. Whenever I'm gaming in my chair, I usually like cross my legs. Sometimes I'll have my legs up the wall like this. Like I don't like standing. Or I mean, I don't like sitting for a really long time. So let's do some stretches. Maybe we'll do a nice little side stretch. So I'm gonna just stretch to the side here. Am I mirrored? I guess I am mirrored. That makes sense, I guess. I never considered that until now. Ah, yes. The gamer yoga pose. What would be the gamer yoga pose? I would say something like boat, shrimp pose, except it'd be like this. This is a healthier gamer pose, boat pose. Don't worry, mirrored Marissa can't harm you. Yeah. This one's good for your abs. If you want one that's like, if you sit down for a really long time, one that's really good is if you pull your right leg in, your left leg's flat, right hand on the side, and you pull it across your body. Oh, sometimes you can feel and hear your vertebrae snapping. Yeah. Sometimes I'm worried I might break my own spine, but this is very gentle. This is gentle. It won't break your spine, don't worry. I'd like to think that breaking your own spine is very difficult to do. That's what I'd like to think. Oh, yeah. You only have to do it for a bit. You don't have to hold it for a really, really long time. Just enough to crack your back. And then you could do, what is this pose? Happy baby, that's what it is. Kind of press your back into the floor. This is also the pose that, if you've ever seen the meme where it's like people who like sunning their asshole. You know how that was a trend a while ago? It was like a trend in the new age communities where it was like people would do happy baby pose out when the sun came out, and they would just sun their asshole thinking that it would have certain benefits. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. It's not funny. We do not make fun of other people. This is the pose in which you welcome the sun into your asshole. Anyways. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Can we do some actual reading today? Let's do some actual reading today, shall we? The Ghost of the Ring. My favorite horror yoga pose. What is that? Okay, wait, I have to look now. The second that I said, let's start reading. Now, of course, we're not going to read for another 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, okay. So like something like this, something like, I would say Malasana is the closest thing, yoga squat, but then just kind of like, inversed. Wait, what do you mean? You mean like my legs are bent in a weird position? I'm looking behind me. I'm like, how would I even, like, okay, anyway.
Yeah, that pose. Let's read. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded round together. Well, oh no, sorry, I didn't begin the chapter. There was a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. A dormouse was sitting between them, fast asleep, and the other two were using it as a cushion, resting their elbows on it and talking over its head. Very uncomfortable for the dormouse, thought Alice. Only as it's asleep, I suppose it doesn't mind. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded together at one corner of it. No room, no room, they cried out when they saw Alice coming. There's plenty of room, said Alice indignantly, as she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table. Have some wine, the March Hare said in an encouraging tone. Alice looked all around the table, but there was nothing on it but tea. I don't see any wine, she remarked. There isn't any, said the March Hare. Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it, said Alice angrily. It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited, said the March Hare. I didn't know it was your table, said Alice. It's laid for a great many more than three. Your hair wants cutting, said the Hatter. He had been looking at Alice for some time with great curiosity, and this was his first speech. You should learn not to make personal remarks, Alice said with some severity. It's very rude. The Hatter opened his eyes very wide on hearing this, but all he said was, Why is a raven like a writing desk? Come, we shall have some fun now, thought Alice. I'm glad they've begun asking riddles. I believe I can guess that, she added aloud. Do you mean that you can think you can find the answer to it, said the March Hare. Exactly so, said Alice. Then you should say what you mean, the March Hare went on. I do, Alice hastily replied. At least what I mean, I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know. Not the same thing a bit, said the Hatter. You might just as well say that I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see. You might just as well say, added the March Hare, that I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like. You might just as well say, added the Dormouse, who seemed to be talking in his sleep, that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe. It is the same thing with you, said the Hatter, and here the conversation dropped, and the party sat silent for a minute, while Alice thought over all she could remember about ravens and writing desks, which wasn't much. The Hatter was the first to break the silence. What day of the month is it? He said, turning to Alice. He had taken his watch out of his pocket and was looking at it uneasily, shaking it every now and then, holding it to his ear. Alice considered a little and then said, The 4th. 2 days wrong, sighed the Hatter. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works, he added, looking angrily at the March Hare. It was the best butter, the March Hare meekly replied. Yes, but some crumbs have got in it as well, the Hatter grumbled. You shouldn't have put it in with the bread knife. The March Hare took the watch and looked at it gloomily, and then he dipped it into his cup of tea and looked at it again. But he could think of nothing better to say than his first remark. It was the best butter, you know. Alice had been looking over his shoulder with some curiosity. What a funny watch, she remarked. It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell you what o'clock it is? Why should it? Muttered the Hatter. Does your watch tell you what year it is? Of course not, Alice replied very readily. That's because it stays the same year for such a long time altogether. Which is the case with mine, said the Hatter. Alice felt dreadfully puzzled. The Hatter's remark seemed to have no sort of meaning in it, and yet it was certainly English. I don't quite understand you, she said, politely as she could. The Dormouse is asleep again, said the Hatter. and he poured a little hot tea upon his nose. The Dormouse shook its head impatiently and said, without opening its eyes, of course, just what I was going to remark myself." I think this book was written like performing a tarot reading. It was completely stream of consciousness, yes. That's why I say it's very dreamlike. Things just happen. The words just come out. It's awesome. Let's see. "The Dormouse is asleep again," said the Hatter, and poured a little hot tea upon its nose. The Dormouse shook its head impatiently and said, without opening its eyes, of course, just what I was going to remark myself." "Have you guessed the riddle yet?" the Hatter asked, turning to Alice again. "No, I give it up. What's the answer?" "I haven't the slightest idea," said the Hatter. "Nor I," said the March Hare. Alice sighed wearily. "I think you might do something better with the time," she said, "than waste it in asking riddles that have no answers." Philosophers. Asking questions that have no answers, that's literally just philosophy. So I guess the Hatter and the Hare are philosophers. That makes sense. No offense to philosophers. No offense. "If you knew time as well as I do," said the Hatter, "you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him." "I don't know what you mean," said Alice. "Oh, of course you don't," the Hatter said, tossing his head contemptuously. "I dare say you never even spoke to time." "Perhaps not," Alice cautiously replied. But I know I have to beat time when I learn music." "Ah, that accounts for it," said the Hatter. "He won't stand beating. Now, if you only kept on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you liked with the clock. For example, suppose it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just in time to begin lessons. You'd only have to whisper a hint to time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner." "I only wish it was," the March Hare said to itself in a whisper. "That would be grand, certainly," said Alice thoughtfully. "But then, I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know." "Not at first, perhaps," said the Hatter, "but you could keep it out to 1:30 as long as you like." "Is that the way you manage?" Alice asked. The Hatter shook his head mournfully. "Not I," he replied. We quarreled last March, just before he went mad, you know," pointing with his teaspoon at the March Hare. "It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing, 'Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at.' You know the song, perhaps?" I've heard something like it," said Alice. "It goes on, you know," the Hatter continued, "in this way." Okay, I'm not going to sing the second half. "Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle." Here the Dormouse shook itself and began singing in its sleep, "Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle, twinkle," and went on so long that they had to pinch it to make it stop. "Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse," said the Hatter, when the Queen jumped up and bawled out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!" "How dreadfully savage! Oh, how dreadfully savage!" exclaimed Alice. And ever since that, the Hatter went on in a mournful tone, "He won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now." A bright idea came into Alice's head. "Is that the reason so many tea things are put out here?" she asked. "Yes, that's it," said the Hatter with a sigh. "It's always tea time, and we've no time to wash the things between whiles." "Then you keep moving round, I suppose," said Alice. "Exactly so," said the Hatter, "as the things get used up." "But what happens when you come to the beginning again?" Alice ventured to ask. "Suppose we change the subject," the March Hare interrupted, yawning. "I'm getting tired of this. I vote the young lady tells us a story." I'm afraid I don't know one, said Alice, rather alarmed at the proposal. Girl, you don't know a story? This girl just like recited a 5-page essay 2 chapters ago. I think you do know stories, my girl. I lost my spot. The dormouse slowly opened his eyes. I wasn't asleep, he said in a hoarse, feeble voice. I heard every word you fellows were saying. Tell us a story, said the March Hare. Yes, please do, pleaded Alice. And be quick about it, added the Hatter, or you'll be asleep again before it's done. Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, the Dormouse began in a great hurry, and their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well. What did they live on? Said Alice, who always took a great interest in questions of eating and drinking. Oh, what did they live on? Interesting. They lived on treacle, said the Dormouse, after thinking for a minute or 2. They couldn't have done that, you know, Alice gently remarked. They'd have been ill. So they were, said the Dormouse, very ill. Alice tried to fancy to herself what such an extraordinary way of living would be like, but it puzzled her too much, and so she went on. But why did they live at the bottom of a well? Take some more tea, the March Hare said to Alice very earnestly. I've had nothing yet, Alice replied in an offended tone, so I can't take more. You mean you can't take less, said the Hatter. It's very easy to take more than nothing. Refly, you better stop that at once. Refly, you better stop that at once. This is your 2nd strike. Who's making personal remarks now? The Hatter asked triumphantly. Alice did not quite know what to say to this, so she helped herself to some tea and bread and butter, and then turned to the Dormouse and repeated her question. Why did they live at the bottom of the well? The Dormouse again took a minute or 2 to think about it, and then said, It was a treacle well. There's no such thing. Alice was beginning very angrily, but the Hatter and the March Hare went, Shh, and the Dormouse sulkily remarked, If you can't be civil, you better finish the story for yourself. No, please go on, Alice said very humbly. I won't interrupt again. I dare say there may be one. One indeed, said the Dormouse indignantly. However, he consented to go on. And so these 3 little sisters, they were learning to draw, you know. What did they draw? Said Alice, quite forgetting her promise. Treacle, said the Dormouse, without considering it all this time. I want a clean cup, interrupted the Hatter. Let's all move one place on. He moved on as he spoke, and the Dormouse followed him. The March Hare moved into the Dormouse's place, and Alice rather unwillingly took the place of the March Hare. The Hatter was the only one who got any advantage from the change, and Alice was a good deal worse off than before, as the March Hare had just upset the milk jug into his plate. Alice did not wish to offend the Dormouse again, so she began very cautiously. But I don't understand. Where did they draw the treacle from? What is treacle? You guys fighting in there in the chat? Refly, oh, does that guy in the ESL class still make those meme remarks? Refly, I think that, so I actually never saw that guy again. After that one class that I sat in, as like a practice, like to see how the class dynamics would be, I've never seen him again. I think he actually was asked to not come back. I shouldn't laugh. He was probably going through a difficult time in his life, so I think that's what made him want to be a class clown. I had a class clown in one of my ESL classes that would just like make me, he would just like spout out, like shout out Gen Z memes. And this guy was like 45 at least. And would like interrupt the teacher and like would say like the strangest things. Yeah, it was before 6'7", but he was saying, I can't remember what he was saying. He was saying things like, you're a nothing burger. And everybody just looked around like, what? What? What are we doing here? No, yeah. Anyway, chronically online, unfortunately. Probably using social media as a way to cope. So we will not judge. We will not judge that person. We will wish them well. But yeah, he's not invited back to the ESL class, I don't think. Oh yeah, I was gonna look and see what is treacle.
I feel like the Europeans would know what it is. Like the British people would know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Oh, it's
an uncrystallized syrup made during the refining of sugar. Oh, is it like brown sugar? Is it like molasses? It's similar to molasses. Okay, I know what molasses is. Surprise, we invited him to the chat. You do that every single time I talk about somebody. Listen, I don't like to encourage talking about people behind their back. It's not good. Here's a question for you guys. When is it appropriate to talk about somebody behind their back, and when isn't it? No, that's a controversial topic. Never mind. I'm reeling that back in. Just kidding. We're not talking about that. I was talking about him because I was concerned with how I was going to manage the classroom. That's why I wasn't just talking about him to talk shit about him. I was talking because I was like asking people's advice of like, what would you do if your student like was shouting out those things? That's what I was doing in my defense. Yeah, I don't usually like talking about people behind their back. I don't think that's a good thing to do. Because you don't always know that's the thing, you never know the full situation of what somebody's going through. And so, yeah, maybe they do have certain behavior that absolutely like is very disruptive and, just makes everybody uncomfortable. But you don't know what's going on in their life that's making them act out like that. So. Speaking of behind somebody there, gotcha, karate chops with a large foam karate hand. Oh my gosh, you guys are just fighting. If that's what you want to engage in, fine. I'm sorry guys, there's gonna be an ad in like 40 seconds. Sorry, you're gonna be banished to the ad void. I'm gonna continue reading. Yes? Okay, we're gonna continue reading. Sorry, everyone. Ads. No, it's not right to continue reading. You know what? I'm going to look at some more art. Shall we do that? Let's look at some more art in the meantime. Heh, you won't be banished. Yeah, I know. You've got special status. I want to look at the third one of Dom's art. As long as we conform to the pattern of society, life must be a battlefield. Ooh. As long as we conform to the pattern of society, life must be a battlefield. Well, this definitely goes along the lines of my mantra. Reject conformity. Reject conformity. Not conforming is also a battlefield. Well, the thing is, not conforming is also... Actually, I was talking about this with my husband the other day. Like, it's a spectrum, right? Like, participating in society and not participating. Being completely independent from society means, like, having to live in the forest, completely off the grid. Basically, like, an uncontacted... No, that'd be different. I was gonna say, an uncontacted Amazonian tribe. But that's actually just choosing to be in a different society, a different system. If you want to be completely independent from the system, you gotta like be self-sufficient, live off the grid, make all your own food, make your own house, not have any internet, not depend on anything. If you truly want to be independent, if you are not that, then you do depend on the system in some capacity. So I think you can like be gradual. You can be, what's the word? Like not fully dependent on society and on the system, but also like, you know. So there's different degrees of participation. Like, for example, maybe you start growing some of your own food, or maybe you stop buying from certain organizations. Maybe you just choose to live your life a little bit differently than everybody else. That's cool. But there's still some ways that you probably depend on society. Like, here's some things that I definitely depend on that I would not want to have to do myself. I really, really enjoy trash collection. Oh, I love trash collection. Yes, please take away my trash so I don't have to see it. Out of sight, out of mind, you know? Out of sight, out of mind. I mean, there's obviously a drawback with that, but you know. I like having hot water. I like having power. That's nice. Clean water, power, that's excellent. Did I personally collect the water and sterilize it myself? No. I got it from the water plant, whatever, I don't know, however they produce clean water for our society. That's how I got it. And I don't even have to know. I don't even have to know how they do it. They just do it. Why? Because we live in a society. We live in a society. So unless you're like completely off the grid, no internet, no nothing, do everything yourself, then you do depend on society for some things. I'm only saying that because thank you, watermen and women. Yes, thank you, for real. I love watermen and women who produce our clean water. And the sewage treatment, oh my gosh, amazing. That's another thing that I would not want to do myself. I am very glad that I live in a society that takes care of sewage and trash and waste. It's awesome. Thank you, garbage men and women, yes. So true. So true. Okay, let's continue reading, shall we? I think we're almost done with the party chapter. We are almost done. You can draw water out of a water well, said the Hatter, so I think you could draw a treacle out of a treacle well. Eh? But they were in the well, Alice said to the Dormouse, not choosing to notice this last remark. Of course they were, said the Dormouse. Well in. This answer so confused poor Alice that she let the Dormouse go on for some time without interrupting it. They were learning to draw, so the Dormouse went on, yawning and rubbing its eyes, for it was getting very sleepy. And they drew all manner of things, everything that begins with an M. Why with an M? Said Alice. I don't know why this girl's still asking questions. She's very confident and very like, I don't know, she needs to know the answer. She doesn't get discouraged easily. Why not? Said the March Hare. Alice was silent. This is what I feel like when if I were to ever do debate, it would be like this. I would ask one question, a single question, and then whoever's debating me would ask me a follow-up question, and I'd instantly just be like, okay, you win. I'm so bad at arguing. Okay. The Dormouse had closed its eyes by this time, and it was going off into a doze. But on being pinched by the Hatter, it woke up again with a little shriek and went on. That begins with an M, such as mousetraps, and the moon, and memory, and muchness. You know, you say things that are much of a muchness. Did you ever see a thing such as a drawing of a muchness? Really? Now you ask me, said Alice, very much confused. I don't think... Then you shouldn't talk, said the Hatter. This piece of rudeness was more than Alice could bear. She got up in great disgust and walked off. The Dormouse fell asleep instantly, and neither of the others took the least notice of her going, though she looked back once or twice, half hoping they would call after her. The last time she saw them, they were trying to put the Dormouse into the teapot. At any rate, I'll never go there again, said Alice as she picked her way through the wood. It's the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life. Just as she said this, she noticed that one of the trees had a door leading right to it. That's very curious, she thought. But everything's curious today. I think I may as well go in at once. And in she went. Once more, she found herself in the long hall and close to the little glass table. Now, I'll manage better this time, she said to herself, and began by taking the little golden key and unlocking the door that led into the garden. Then she went to work nibbling at the mushroom. She had kept a piece of it in her pocket, till she was about a foot high, and then she walked down the little passage, and then she found herself at last in the beautiful garden, among the bright flower beds and the cool fountains. Nice. So that's the end of chapter 7. The Mad Tea Party. So iconic. Okay, so chapter 8 is the Queen's Croquet Ground. Let me see how long this chapter is. Oh, it's not too long. Okay, we're going to do chapter 8, and then after that, I think we will finish for the day. So, let's lock in. I'm going to lock in. Wait. Yes, touch grass. Exactly. Okay. A large rose tree stood near the entrance of the garden. The roses growing on it were white, but there were 3 gardeners at it, busily painting them red. Alice thought this a very curious thing, and she went nearer to watch them. And just as she came up to them, she heard one of them say, "Look out now, 5. Don't go splashing paint all over me like that." "I couldn't help it," said 5, in a sulky tone. 7 jogged my elbow. On which 7 looked up and said, "That's right, 5. Always lay the blame on others." "You'd better not talk," said 5. "I heard the Queen say only yesterday you deserved to be beheaded." "What for?" said the one who had spoken first. "That's none of your business, too," said 7. "Yes, it is his business," said 5, "and I'll tell him. It was for bringing the cook tulip roots instead of onions." Oh, tulip roots do actually look like onions, to be fair. Yeah, I've planted tulips before, and I'm like, wait, are onions related to this? Just saying. 7 flung down his brush and had just begun. Well, of all the unjust things. When his eye chanced to fall upon Alice, and she stood watching them, and he checked himself suddenly. The others looked round also, and all of them bowed low. "Would you tell me," said Alice, "Would you tell me," said Alice, a little timidly, "why are you painting those roses?" 5 and 7 said nothing, but looked at 2. 2 began in a low voice. Every time I hear an emphasized you or your, I imagine pointing at a viewer emoji. You're funny. Here. Well, people get the wrong idea if I... Okay, here's something I thought. Genuine question. All right. I'm laying down like this because it feels nice for my back. Okay? Yeah, I know. Sometimes I hate people. That's it. That's all I have to say. I just like, I want to lay down with my back comfortable, but also I don't want people to get, maybe I could I'll put my socks on. How about that? How dare you? Oh, I'm sorry, Refly. I misjudged what you were saying. You were saying I was going to knock something off. Okay, I get it now. So that means it's fine. Well, I'm going to put socks on anyway, so so that no miscommunication happens. There. See, that's better. Okay. 5 and 7 said nothing, but looked at 2. 2 began in a low voice. Why, the fact is, you see, miss, this here ought to have been a red rose tree, and we put a white one in by mistake. And if the queen was to find it out, we should all have our heads cut off, you know. So you see, miss, we're doing our best afore she comes to... At this moment 5, who had been anxiously looking across the garden, called out, "The queen! The queen!" And the 3 gardeners instantly threw themselves flat upon their faces. There was a sound of many footsteps, and Alice looked round, eager to see the queen. First came 10 soldiers carrying clubs. These were all shaped like the 3 gardeners, oblong and flat, with their hands and feet at the corners. Next, the 10 courtiers. These were ornamented all over with diamonds, and walked 2 and 2, as the soldiers did. After these came the royal children. There were 10 of them, and the little dears came jumping merrily along, hand in hand, in couples. They were all ornamented with hearts. Next came the guests, mostly kings and queens, and among them Alice recognized the white rabbit. It was talking in a hurried, nervous manner, smiling at everything that was said, and went by without noticing her. Then followed the knave of hearts, carrying the king's crown on a crimson velvet cushion. And last of all in this grand procession came the king and queen of hearts. Alice was rather doubtful whether she ought not to lie down on her face like the 3 gardeners, but she could not remember ever having heard of such a rule of processions. And besides, what would be the use of a procession, thought she, if people had to all lie down upon their faces so that they couldn't see it? So she stood still where she was and waited. When the procession came up opposite to Alice, they all stopped and looked at her, and the queen said severely, "Who is this?" She said to the knave of hearts, who only bowed and smiled in reply. "Idiot," said the queen, tossing her head impatiently, and turning to Alice. She went on, "What's your name, child?" "My name is Alice, so please your majesty," said Alice very politely, but she added to herself, "Why, they're only a pack of cards after all. I needn't be afraid of them." "And who are these?" said the queen, pointing to the 3 gardeners who were lying round the rose tree, for, you see, as they were lying on their faces and the pattern on their backs was the same as the rest of the pack, she could not tell whether they were gardeners or soldiers or courtiers or 3 of her own children. "How should I know?" said Alice, surprised at her own courage. "It's no business of mine." The queen turned crimson with fury, and after glancing at her for a moment like a wild beast, screamed, "Off with her head! Off!" "Nonsense," said Alice, very loudly and decidedly, and the queen was silent. The king laid his hand upon her arm and timidly said, "Consider, my dear, she is only a child." The queen turned angrily away from him and said to the knave, "Turn them over." The knave did so, very carefully with one foot. "Get up," said the queen, in a shrill, loud voice, and the 3 gardeners instantly jumped up and began bowing to the king, the queen, the royal children, and everyone else. "Leave off that," screamed the queen. "You make me giddy." For some reason I thought giddy was something to describe happiness. I guess it just means worked up. And then, turning to the rose tree, she went on. "What have you been doing here?" "May it please your majesty," said two, in a very humbling tone, going down on one knee as he spoke. "We were trying—" "I see. Oh, I see," said the queen, who had meanwhile been examining the roses. "Off with their heads." And the procession moved on, 3 of the soldiers remaining behind to execute the unfortunate gardeners who ran to Alice for protection. Oh boy, are we going to make it through the rest of this chapter? The stuttering is upon us. The stuttering is upon us. Trying our best. That's the best we can do, right? If I stop now, I won't know where I left off next time. "Did you say, 'What a pity?'" the rabbit asked. "Oh no, sorry. Come then," roared the queen, and Alice joined the procession, wondering very much what would happen next. It's a very fine day," said a timid voice at her side. She was walking by the white rabbit, who was peeping anxiously into her face. Eclecte said, I stutter so much while I read aloud too. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the bottom of why I do that, and I think mostly it's because when I know that I'm thinking about something else, that's when it happens. Or also when there's something that just like takes away from my confidence. If I don't have a lot of confidence, it's multiple things. Well, I'm glad you agree. I mean, you understand. Yeah. Some days are good, some days are bad. Hush, hush, said the rabbit in a low, hurried tone. He looked anxiously over his shoulder as he spoke, and then raised himself upon tiptoe, put his mouth close to her ear, and whispered, "She's under sentence of execution." "What for?" said Alice. "Did you say, 'What a pity?'" the rabbit asked. "No, I didn't," said Alice. "I don't think it's at all a pity. I said, 'What for?'" "She boxed the queen's ears," the rabbit began. Alice gave a little scream of laughter. "Oh, hush," the rabbit whispered in a frightened tone. "The queen will hear you. You see, she came rather late, and the queen said—" "Get to your places," shouted the queen in a voice of thunder, and people began running in all directions, tumbling up against each other. However, they got settled down in a minute or two, and the game began. Alice thought she had never seen such a curious croquet ground in her life. It was all ridges and furrows. The balls were live hedgehogs, the mallets live flamingos, and the soldiers had to double themselves up and to stand on their hands and feet to make the arches. The chief difficulty Alice found at first was in managing her flamingo. She succeeded in getting its body tucked away comfortably enough under her arm, with its legs hanging out, but generally, just as she had got its neck nicely straightened out, she was going to give the hedgehog a blow with its head. It would twist itself round and look up in her face with such a puzzled expression that she could not help burst out laughing. She's a strange child. And when she had got its head down and was going to begin again, it was very provoking to find that the hedgehog had unrolled itself and was in the act of crawling away. Besides all this, there was generally a ridge or furrow in the way wherever she wanted to send the hedgehog to. And as the doubled up soldiers were always getting up and walking off to other parts of the ground, Alice soon came to the conclusion that it was a very difficult game indeed. The players all played at once without waiting for turns, quarreling all the while, and fighting the hedgehogs, and in a very short time the queen was in a furious passion, and went stamping about and shouting, "Off with his head," or "Off with her head," about once a minute. Alice began to feel very uneasy, to be sure. She had not as yet had any dispute with the queen, but she knew that it might happen any minute. And then, thought she, what would become of me? They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. The great wonder is that there's anyone left alive. She was looking about for some way of escape and wondering whether she could get away without being seen, when she noticed a curious appearance in the air. It puzzled her very much at first, but after watching it a minute or two, she made it out to be a grin, and she said to herself, "It's the Cheshire Cat. Now I shall have somebody to talk to." "How are you getting on?" said the cat, as soon as there was mouth enough for it to speak with. Alice waited till the eyes appeared, and then nodded. It's no use speaking to it, she thought, till its ears have come, or at least one of them. In another minute the whole head appeared, and Alice put down her flamingo and began an account of the game, feeling very glad she had someone to listen to her. She seems like the kind of person who, if she doesn't talk to somebody, after a certain period of time, she'll go crazy. If she's like not always talking, either to herself or someone else. That's one thing where we differ. Me and Alice, we differ. Because I could go days without talking to anyone and be fine. But it seems like she can't go for a few minutes without talking to somebody. There's different kinds of people. I don't think they play at all fairly, Alice began, in rather a complaining tone. And they all quarrel so dreadfully one can't hear oneself speak. And she's like, I need to hear myself talk to myself. Yeah, collecte. Oh yeah, you get it. Yeah, go a long time without talking to people. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. We can go a long time. I know there's that question of like, do you have an internal narrative? I did like a stream a while back where we discussed that. Like, what even is an internal narrative? So we know that Alice is definitely talking to herself. Like she's talking out loud to herself. There's plenty of people that do that. But I think that what they mean by internal narrative is like talking to like having conversations with yourself, like perhaps hearing your own voice inside your head. I don't know. Because I do talk to myself. Let's define internal narrative first, shall we? Yes. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by internal narrative, huh? Yeah. You have an internal narrative. Nice. I am not sure whether I have one. I think I do. Because I talk to myself most of the time. I think it's like I sometimes have it and I sometimes don't. Like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. A collector said, I'm not sure if the voice is mine or what, but it's in my head and I speak to myself with my brain. Oh, it's always so cool. It's so cool to learn about how other people think, how other people talk to themselves. For me, like, and is it in words too? That's the thing. Because I think in words a lot of the time, but sometimes I think in just thinking. I think in like concepts or like pictures, words in full sentences. Yeah, I feel like I do that too. Here's the question though: how did we think before we learned language? You know, how did we think when we were children and really young? Before we learned language, I'm sure we relied on that other form of communicating with yourself. If you talk to yourself, where does the voice come from? The center of your brain? So there's like different hypotheses for like what makes the self. Some people say it's like the default mode network. Like if you're trying to think about it scientifically, there's something called the default mode network, which is supposed to house the personality, etc. It's been like debunked and reinstated many times. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's very like ongoing research, but here. There's a series of midline and lateral cortical brain regions. So this is from National Library of Medicine. This is from 2011, I think. But Let's see. Tell me what it is. What is it? Please define. It's not going to define, is it? Well, it's been shown like when it during like for certain mental health conditions like depression and anxiety to also be the cause of or to be involved, I should say. Far from being fully understood. Sometimes it's seen, I've seen it seen both ways. Like it's either your personality or it's the opposite of your personality. So it's like, which one is it? I don't know. Science is interesting sometimes. Sometimes people don't know things. Anyway, from some of the research I've read, the default mode network seems to be like the center for your ego and personality. That tends to be in more of the like psychedelic spaces. But yeah, people are still theorizing. It feels like the middle of the room, maybe at ear level. If it helps you to visualize that way. I mean, like the guru I listen to, the way he describes consciousness is like an empty room, or is like a room, right? With the consciousness is the light that shines on other things. So if there's things inside the room and there's a light that turns on and illuminates them, so it's like your thoughts or your perceptions or your emotions, those are made known to you by your consciousness. But if there's nothing in the room, like if you don't have any thoughts, any whatever, so you're like in deep sleep, the consciousness is still, the light is still on, but there's nothing to be seen. There's nothing to be perceived. There's nothing to be seen. I love these explorations we're doing. Your brain voice has stage fright and it's throwing me off now. So interesting and fun. Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting, right? Because it feels like on one day you could be figuring things out, and then the next day you're like, oh, I was wrong. I don't know. Sometimes I do. That's one of the fun parts about meditating, though, is like you can meditate on like where do my thoughts come from? Where is this coming from? What is it? Like, who said that? What part of myself? Some people see it in terms of like internal family systems. So like perhaps you have like different personalities all housed within yourself. So you've got like somebody who protects you, somebody who is your inner child, somebody who is, the person who does your executive functioning. There's all these different things, and so when a certain thought arises and you're like, where the frick did that come from? You can point to one of these individuals and be like, oh, okay, that came from my inner child, and that's why. It's fun to like think about why you think the ways that you do and where it all comes from, because it's like doing science inside. It's like doing scientific research almost. When you visualize things, it's like it's located above the internal monologue room. Is that how you experience it, Reflat? That's interesting. Ooh, I have to think about that more. About when I visualize things. That's so interesting. I don't think about it in different places. Male brain, by the way. Well, that's so interesting. I never thought about it in terms of like being in different places of my brain. I felt like it was all in this, but I haven't thought about it. So maybe if I know I said it like 5 times, but maybe if I think about it more, I might be like, oh, that came from a different area in my brain, physical area. Okay, we're almost done, I think. Yeah, we're almost done. We only have a few paragraphs left. Well, a lot of paragraphs, but we're almost done. "How do you like the Queen?" said the cat in a low voice. "Not at all," said Alice. "She's so extremely..." Just then she noticed the Queen was close behind her listening, so she went on, "Likely to win. That it's hardly worthwhile finishing the game." The Queen smiled and passed on. "Who are you talking to?" said the King, going up to Alice and looking in the cat's head with great curiosity. "It's a friend of mine, a Cheshire cat," said Alice. "Allow me to introduce it." "I don't like the look of it at all," said the King. "However, it may kiss my hand if it likes." "I'd rather not," the cat remarked. "Don't be impertinent," said the King, "and don't look at me like that." He got behind Alice as he spoke. "A cat may look at a king," said Alice. "I've read that in some book, but I don't remember where." "Well, it must be removed," the King said very decidedly, as he called the Queen, who was passing at the moment. "My dear, I wish you would have this cat removed." The Queen only had one way of settling all difficulties, great or small. "Off with his head," she said, without even looking round. "I'll fetch the executioner myself," said the King eagerly as he hurried off. Alice thought she might as well go back and see how the game was going on, as she heard the Queen's voice in the distance, screaming with passion. She had already heard her sentence. Three of the players to be executed. That's so weird. I read that correctly. Oh my gosh, QB! Hello! Hi, welcome! Welcome to the Mad Tea Party. Sit down, have some tea. We're reading Alice in Wonderland. And we did some yoga earlier. But yeah, how you doing? What's up? And you can finally chat, holy shit. You couldn't chat for the longest time. Congratulations. Here, wait one second. Yes.
Yes!
Congratulations. We're almost done with chapter 8. Unfortunately, you caught us at the end, the tail end of our reading for today, but we'll finish. Alice thought she might as well go back and see how the game was going on, as she heard the Queen's voice in the distance screaming with passion. She had already heard her sentence 3 of the players to be executed for having missed their turns, and she did not like the look of things at all, as the game was in such confusion that she never knew whether it was her turn or not. So she went in search of her hedgehog. The hedgehog was engaged in a fight with another hedgehog, which seemed to Alice an excellent opportunity for crocheting one of them with the other. The only difficulty was that her flamingo was gone across to the other side of the garden, where Alice could see it trying in a helpless sort of way to fly up into a tree. By the time she had caught the flamingo and brought it back, the fight was over, and both the hedgehogs were out of sight. But it doesn't matter much, thought Alice, as all the arches are gone from this side of the ground. So she tucked it away under her arm, that it might not escape again, and went back for a little more conversation with her friend. When she got back to the Cheshire Cat, she was surprised to find quite a large crowd collected round it. There was a dispute going on between the executioner, the King, and the Queen, who were all talking at once, while all the rest were quite silent and looked very uncomfortable. The moment Alice appeared, she was appealed to by all three to settle the question, and they repeated their arguments to her, though, as they all spoke at once, she found it very hard indeed to make out exactly what they said. The executioner's argument was that you couldn't cut off a head unless there was a body to cut it off from, that he had never had to do such a thing before, and he wasn't going to begin at his time of life. The king's argument was that anything that had a head could be beheaded, and that you weren't to talk nonsense. The queen's argument was that if something wasn't done about it in less than no time, she'd have everybody executed all around. It was this last remark that it made the whole party look so grave and anxious. Alice could think of nothing else to say but, "It belongs to the Duchess. You'd better ask her about it." "She's in prison," the queen said to the executioner. "Fetch her there." And the executioner went off like an arrow. The cat's head began fading away the moment he was gone, and by the time they had come back with the Duchess, it had entirely disappeared. So the king and his executioner ran wildly up and down looking for it, while the rest of the party went back to the game. Okay, that was the end of chapter 8. Yay, we did it! So we didn't finish the book, unfortunately. Actually, I think we have 5 more chapters left. No. Yeah, 5 more chapters. So, what's on the menu today? What do you mean, what is on the menu today? You mean, what am I gonna eat for dinner or what? I'm making cauliflower pizzas. I'm making cauliflower pizzas for dinner. Yeah, yummy. What about you guys? What have you eaten today? Cauliflower pizza is so good. I know, it is. Vinyasa flow time? Yes, one final vinyasa flow. Hell yeah. That was our last chapter for today. So we'll do one last vinyasa and then we'll wrap up. So I'll just do a basic one and then I'll read your comments. I'll just do like the most basic. So we'll start, breathe in, breathe out. 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 You are now aware that you are breathing. Yep, you've been cursed. Now I forgot how to breathe. Thinking too much about it. Don't worry, you'll, happens to the best of us. Don't worry, you're gonna forget soon enough. You'll forget soon enough and your body will take over. It's so cool how our bodies do that for us. It's awesome. It would be hard to consciously breathe all the time, although consciously breathing is very good for you. I was prescribed by a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner to do 9 deep breaths at noon every day. Have I been doing it? No. But it's supposed to help with my mental health, so I should do it. There's nothing wrong with breathing, right? Breathing deeply. There's always a good benefit with that. Eclectic says, you're eating sweet potatoes, tofu scramble, and miso soup. Oh, wow. Did you make all that? Dinner is still in debate. Well, after you made all that, wow. Vinyasa has always been the death of me. It puts you into a panic. You did make it. Congratulations. Oh, I did look on your channel. It looks like you do cooking streams as well, which is awesome. Dom just barely finished a book. Congratulations. What book was it? Oh no. Now I'm reminded of the fact that I didn't start that book I was going to start. Dang it. It's okay. Hey, but I'm reading a book. Okay, I'm reading a book right now. I'm just multitasking. I'm reading a book and streaming. It's called Quintessential Secret Tibet Teachings. And did you learn the secrets? That's awesome. Well, Dom reads a lot of books, so I'm not surprised. How long does it take you to finish a book? A day? I guess it depends on the size of the book, right? Depends on the size. Like, what's one book that felt like it was a huge accomplishment. I felt like when I finished the Court of Thorns and Roses series, I felt like, wow, I read a lot. Because each one of those books is like several hundred pages long. Dom, I was trying to do 20-ish pages a day. Oh, that's actually a really reasonable goal. That's super reasonable. Eclectic said, it takes me a few days. Depending on the book, yeah. That's a good idea. Like setting a goal for yourself. Like, okay, I'm gonna read this many pages every day. But yeah. Oh, enjoy your dinner, Bunny. Thank you so much for being here. Anyone get around to reading House of Leaves? I haven't read House of Leaves. What's it about? Here, I'm looking it up right now. A complex experimental horror novel. Oh, that's cool. Wait, oh, the design of the book looks really cool too. What is this? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be done. We're wrapping up here. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me today. This is so interesting. Wait, is this really the book? Oh, that's crazy. That's cool. Okay, I'm very intrigued now. What a fun design, I know, right? It's a spatial book. Thanks for the recommendation, QB. Okay, let me see if I can find somebody to raid. Popmen assemble. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody to raid today. Sorry, guys. Next time for sure. I followed a few extra people, so we'll hope next time I'm live, they're live. But yeah. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, rest of your morning, whatever it is. And yeah, I probably won't do this again tomorrow. We'll see. I might do a regular gaming stream tomorrow, but yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.